History of the Great Depression and How America Went Bankrupt. It's a story of America's fall and rise. The year is 1929. America, a young nation bursting with ambition, seemed to be on top of the world. The Roaring Twenties had just ended, a vibrant decade characterized by booming industries, a carefree spirit, and an unshakable faith in progress. But beneath the glittering facade, cracks were beginning to show. The stock market, a colossal engine driving the nation's wealth, was inflated beyond reason, fueled by speculation and a collective belief that the good times would never end. Enter October 24th, 1929, a day now etched in infamy as Black Thursday. A wave of panic swept through Wall Street, sending stock prices plummeting at an alarming rate. What started as a tremor quickly transformed into a full-blown earthquake. Investors, gripped by fear, desperately tried to sell their shares only to find a market in freefall. Billions of dollars in wealth vanished into thin air, leaving behind a trail of despair and shattered dreams. This wasn't just a financial crisis. It was a domino effect that toppled the entire economic landscape. Businesses, overly dependent on easy credit and a seemingly endless stream of consumer spending, found themselves teetering on the brink. As stock prices fell, their access to capital dried up. Orders dwindled, factories shut down, and a wave of unemployment began to rise, engulfing millions in its suffocating grasp. John Miller, a proud steel worker in Pittsburgh, watched the world around him crumble. Just a year ago, the clang of machinery and the rhythmic pulse of the factory filled his days. Now an ominous silence hung heavy in the air. The once mighty furnaces stood cold, a stark reminder of the industry's decline. John, along with hundreds of his colleagues, received the dreaded news: layoffs. His livelihood, his sense of security, vanished in an instant. Meanwhile, in the heartland of America, another disaster unfolded. The Dust Bowl, a period of relentless drought and dust storms, ravaged the Great Plains. Once fertile fields turned into barren wastelands, choked by dust clouds that stretched as far as the eye could see. Farmers, the backbone of the nation's food supply, watched their crops wither and die. The banking system, the supposed guardian of the nation's wealth, became another casualty of the crisis. As businesses faltered and people lost their jobs, their ability to repay loans evaporated. Fear gripped the public. They rushed to banks, demanding their savings, a desperate attempt to salvage what little they had left. The economic crisis quickly morphed into a national crisis. By the early 1930s, America was on the brink of collapse. Breadlines snaked through city streets, filled with desperate people waiting for a meager handout. Shantytowns, derisively called Hoovervilles after then-President Herbert Hoover, sprang up on the outskirts of cities, housing those who had lost everything. Amidst the bleakness emerged a new leader, Franklin D. Roosevelt, who took office in 1933. He understood that the crisis wasn't just about economics. It was about the very soul of America. With an unwavering belief in the nation's potential and a spirit of bold experimentation, Roosevelt launched a series of programs collectively known as the New Deal. The New Deal aimed to provide relief, recovery, and reform. Relief programs like soup kitchens and federally funded jobs offered immediate assistance to the most vulnerable. Recovery programs, such as the Works Progress Administration, WPA, put millions back to work building roads, bridges, and public buildings. Reform programs like the Social Security Act established a safety net for the elderly and unemployed, offering a sense of security that had been absent before. The New Deal wasn't a magic bullet. The road to recovery was long and arduous, but Roosevelt's bold leadership and the sheer determination of the American people gradually brought the nation back from the brink. The scars of the Great Depression remained, a constant reminder of the nation's vulnerabilities. It changed the way people thought about government, finance, and their place in the world. Yet, from the ashes of despair rose a stronger, more resilient America, one that had learned valuable lessons about economic stability and the importance of social programs. The story of America's bankruptcy during the Great Depression is not just a chronicle of economic decline. The Great Depression left an indelible mark on the American psyche. People who had once been wealthy and secure found themselves homeless and hungry. Families were torn apart, communities were devastated, and the very fabric of society seemed to be unraveling. But out of the darkness of the Great Depression emerged a renewed sense of unity and resilience. People banded together to support one another, communities rallied to rebuild, and the American spirit of perseverance shone through. The Great Depression may have bankrupted America, but it also forged a nation of strength and resilience that would endure for generations to come.